Welcome to the world-famous Apollo Theater in Harlem, New York, where stars are born and legends are made. This is our wall of legends. So many of the artists that performed here back in the 50s and 60s and 70s, their 8x10 headshots were colorized and mounted on the wall of the Apollo Theater. Some of these performers are like Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. Ooh, baby, baby. Even Ray Charles performed there over and over again. And Stevie Wonder. I first met Stevie in 1965 when I first started running errands here at the Apollo Theater. Now, I want to take you inside the main auditorium of the world-famous Apollo Theater. Come with me. This building, which is located at 253 West 125th Street in Harlem, was built in 1914 as a segregated burlesque house known as Hertig and Siemens New Burlesque Theater. By 1932, burlesque theaters had been shut down by the then mayor Fiorello LaGuardia. And in 1934, new owners buy the shutdown Hertig and Siemens New Burlesque Theater. It was Frank Schiffman and his partner Leo Brecker, and they reopened it as the 125th Street Apollo Theater. At that time, African Americans were moving into Harlem during the time they called the Great Migration, and Mr. Schiffman wanted to fill up the seats. So he then reached out to Ralph Cooper. Ralph Cooper was a very, very popular African American actor and band leader who just happened to live in Harlem. But Ralph also had one of the #1 radio shows in New York City. It was a talent show done on radio station WMCA. It was called the Harlem Amateur Hour Radio Show. And Ralph worked out a deal with Mr. Schiffman to bring that radio show to this theater, and it then became known as Amateur Night at the Apollo. Now, I want to take you on to the stage of the Apollo Theater. Come with me. When you come to the Apollo Theater, you'll see this tree standing on a stump on the stage. It is called the Tree of Hope. This was once a large tree that was located on 131st Street and 7th Avenue here in Harlem. 7th Avenue is now called Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard. But just imagine, this tall tree was standing right in the middle of the street. There was traffic going downtown, there was traffic going uptown, and this tree was right there. But across from the tree was a very famous theater in Harlem called the Lafayette Theater. All the great performers back in the 1920s and 30s performed at the Lafayette Theater. Act like Orson Welles and Canada Lee. But the tree was also the place where unemployed entertainers would gather and perform, hoping that people from the Lafayette would notice them and give them a job. They would stand around the tree, they would play instruments, they would sing, they would dance, they were hoping that they would get a shot. And those days started happening. The management from the Lafayette would come out, they would notice these performers, they would like what they did, and they hired them. And being superstitious, people started thinking that the tree must be giving off good luck because they were getting hired, and they weren't before. Then there were plans to fix the sidewalk where the tree was located. In order to do that, the tree had to come down. But before it was taken away, everybody wanted pieces of it. Some took pieces of the bark, put it in their pocket, hoping it brought them luck. Some took twigs, put it in their caps, hoping it brought them luck. Some even took the green leaves and put it in their wallets, hoping it would bring them money. But Ralph Cooper, who created Amateur Night, he and city officials decided to chop the stump of the tree off and bring it to the Apollo Theater so that on Amateur Night, when the contestants are called to come out to perform, rather than taking a piece off for good luck, they can now just rub the trunk for good luck, hoping that the tree would bring them good luck and they wouldn't get booed off the stage. And that is how it became known as the Tree of Hope. We're now at the Apollo Theater Wall of Signatures. These are the signatures of people who performed at the Apollo Theater over the last 20-some odd years. This was an idea by the Apollo Theater stagehands. They decided to have the performers, after their set and before they went to their dressing room, stop here and sign their names on the wall. And believe me, the who's who has signed this wall. Let me just give you some examples. We have John Legend, signed his name on the wall. Snoop Dogg signed his name on the wall. Stevie Wonder had someone from his camp write a quote from him, and then Stevie signed it. Imagine, Stevie had them write, "I will be, I was, I am here for always, Apollo. I love you from the bottom of my heart." That's a Stevieism, and he signed it right there. We have Paul McCartney, Bruce Springsteen, even Oprah Winfrey. This is the Apollo Theater Wall of Signatures, and signatures started becoming so frequent that we had to add addition to the wall. So there's more signatures all the way up the stairs leading to the Apollo Theater dressing rooms, and that's where we'll be going next, to the Apollo Theater dressing rooms. We are now in one of the Apollo Theater dressing rooms, and we're here in the dressing rooms where some of the greatest performers of all time have gotten dressed. The dressing rooms have been done over the years, but I think about when I used to run errands back in the 1960s, actually 1965, 66, 67. But on one occasion, I remember knocking on the door of the dress room, and Eddie Kendricks and the Temptations were in here getting dressed. And Eddie Kendricks says, Billy, I want to place my dinner order. I want a chicken dinner with some mashed potatoes, some string beans, and some biscuits, and make sure you put some gravy on the mashed potatoes. I said, yes, sir. So I take all the other members' orders, right? Dinner orders. And I'm standing outside the dress room door, and they started singing a song that they were going to do on the show. And one of the songs was my favorite Temptations song. And the song lyrics went a little something like this. I'll get to the good part. It went, I guess you say, what can make me feel this way? My girl, my girl, my girl, talking about my girl, my girl. Thank you for joining us on the Apollo Theater Historic Tour. Have a great day.